do a couple of videos covering footwork. This is really important. Now, when we talk about footwork, we're not talking about patterns. We're not talking about special ways of, let's call them dance steps. We're not worried about that at this point. What we really want to focus on is the basic principles of movement. Now, we understand how to walk. We all should know how to do this, forward and backward. There's a problem with walking, though, the way we normally walk, in that when we're walking, what we tend to do is fall forward and catch ourselves. Fall forward and catch ourselves. You see, a lot of big guys have problems with their feet because they're so used to moving in this fashion. So one of the big things we need to focus on when we're moving is to stop moving from the head. We don't want to fall forward and catch ourselves. We want to move forward from our hips. You want to move from your belt buckle or from your belly button or your dantian. You can call it what you want, but you're moving from your center. You're not moving from your head. So the first basic style of movement we're going to look at in this video is the fencing or shuffle step. In this case, one leg is forward, one leg is back, one foot is pointed slightly to the side, one foot is pointed forward. Now, you should recognize this as a, like I said, a classic fencing stance. We're here in our guard. Notice as I move, if I move forward, I push off the back leg and extend the front leg. Of note, my feet do not come up very high. We want them to just glide over the surface that we're moving on. The reason we do this is so we don't trip, so we don't accidentally step on something that we could easily twist our ankle on. It lets us glide across the ground instead of clump across the ground. And it doesn't matter which side you do it from. You can easily do this right or left footed. Whether you're a standard or a goofy foot, doesn't matter. The important point, push off the back, glide with the front. We shuffle. That's the first basic form of movement. From there, we want to look at moving left and right, because that limits us to just moving forward. When we're moving left and right, it's the same principle, but we move the foot that's moving in the direction we want to go. So if I want to go to my right, I'm going to move my right leg first. If I want to move to the left, I'm going to move my left leg first. Now, when I'm moving, I can go wherever I want. It enables us to move with a very stable platform and move across all planes of movement and all planes of motion without crossing our legs up. Crossing our legs up is bad unless you absolutely have to do it. And there are times there are no hard and fast rules. There is only what you can do in the moment. So having good guiding principles helps. Next thing we're going to look at is the classic male and female triangles of Filipino martial arts. They're relatively simple concepts, but all we're really doing when we think about the male and female triangle is looking at whether we're stepping forward or backward off a 45-degree angle. We don't want to always move forward and back. We don't want to always move laterally in straight lines. It's too easy to track, and it's not very efficient at getting to the flanks of our enemies. or stepping out of the way of an incoming weapon and moving to zero pressure. So the male triangle is just simply stepping forward, think male, think aggression, come in at that hard 45 off to the right or left of your opponent. Now, depending on where your legs are, depends on which way you're going to go. If your right leg is forward, it is most natural to step off with the right leg at a 45-degree angle. Excuse me, dog. I appreciate the help in this video, but you're kind of in my way, sir. All right, we'll ignore the dog. So, the male triangle is simply moving at a 45 by moving one of your legs. Here or here. We're coming off on that 45-degree angle. If I step up to the camera, closer as though this were my opponent, you'll see what this is getting us. So we're fighting, we're doing whatever, we block, and then we're offline of our opponent, we're on their flank. And now my weapon's here because, you know, let's just say I threw something and you blocked it, but now my body's to the side, and that allows me to catch, cut, and do what I need to do from the openings on the left and right. Relatively simple concept. The reverse of that, the female triangle, is when you're retreating. So don't think of it as retreating, because that's not really what we're doing. What we're doing is moving back and at a 45. So the weapon strike is coming in here. So what I want to do is step off, step back, and that's going to give me space, time, the ability to move it, and still maintain balance in movement. So forward, you're being aggressive, the male triangle. And if you move backwards, that's the female triangle. Don't get too hung up on it. It's not really that important. The important thing is understanding that you're moving to those angles. You're bleeding off that 45 or going into that 45, always moving to zero pressure. You'll hear me talk about that a lot. We never want to get behind the power curve where we are forced to react. Everything we do should be a premeditated action. But again, we'll get into that a little bit later, because that starts getting into feints and all sorts of other things. Now, let's talk about a simple pattern known as the box pattern. Now, you'll see a lot of boxers use this, hence boxing and also the box pattern. All we're doing is moving up and over and back and over. A simple box. And it doesn't matter which way you're moving. It lets you not stay in one location. It lets you move around. That's kind of redundant, I know. But maintain a very stable firing platform and not take yourself too far out of the range of being able to strike your opponent. One of the guiding principles in Kalis Americano is that we train to hit our opponent from wherever we are, and we train to hit them with power and precision. So this takes a lot of development of shot mechanics, and we will get into that. But again, today is just the second in the series, and we're focusing on footwork. We will expand on this later as I get a partner out here to do some video, but this is still in the middle of the COVID lockdown, and it's kind of hard to show a lot of this stuff without an opponent. But hopefully I'm giving you enough that you can start working on these core skills on your own. So let's go over this all one more time. Let's get Mr. Sully out of the way, because apparently he wants to dance. So let's go with the shuffle step. Push off the back leg, step forward with the front leg, just like you're a fencer. All right. If we want to move laterally, we lead off with the foot that is in the direction of the way we want to go. We want to go to the right, we step with the right. We want to go to the left, we step to the left. Male triangle, aggressive, forward on that strong 45. Female triangle, we're blending off our lines. We're coming back at that 45. Box stepping, all we're doing is creating a box pattern on the floor. Step, 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 step. Real simple stuff. Good drills though. Work on your footwork. The thing to understand about this is you need to practice these skills. You need to get comfortable enough moving with them that you can move without thinking. Because, as I've said in other videos, you never know where your feet are going to be when you have to react. We're talking about real life, not sport. In a sport, you're in a ring, you start off, you have a great opportunity to prepare yourself for the contest. A real life defensive maneuver though, you're caught by surprise. Because if you're not caught by surprise, you are in the wrong place to begin with. So work on your footwork, and I will see you all again sometime soon. Have a good one.